Coming up on the Greg and Tim Show podcast.
Does this mean
that
I could possibly save some money this Christmas?
You might be able to.
Goodness.
For Quebec, who went to Phoenix, still my all-time favorite voice.
I unloaded the dishwasher this morning, which I did not. So she got home and did not feel the love.
Hey, what if you can go somewhere where it's 22 degrees and sunny?
And we drove all the way to New York.
Yeah, no.
Where are we importing our bamboo from? By the way,
I'm sure it's fake.
We can't be fake. We can't have plastic. I go to Wendy's. I order myself a large Coke with cherry because they have all the flavors. I get it in a plastic cup with a plastic lid and a paper straw.
Get your earballs ready and welcome back to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the Greg and Tim Show. This is another episode. I'm Greg, as always, and this here is the man that can even make the Grinch crack a smile, Timothy.
That's right, Greg. Happy to be here, as always. And can you believe it's almost that time again? Christmas!
Oh, yeah. The holiday season upon us, and you know what that means? Christmas shopping madness.
Well, that's the truth. But before we dive into the chaos of the malls and online shopping carts, we've got a few things on the docket. How about we start basketball talk, specifically basketball in the country of Canada?
Canada. Absolutely. We're not just about the maple syrup and politeness up here. We've got some serious basketball skills. The Raptors may not be taking home the championship every year, but hey, I believe they've got a little undeniable Canadian spirit on the court.
I have some basketball skills. Did you notice that?
I didn't.
Did you know that?
I've never seen you play basketball in my life.
You one-on-one.
Probably.
For money.
I wouldn't pay money to watch you beat me one-on-one.
And it's not just about basketball. We'll be touching on a few other sports topics as well. We love our sports. Got to keep our listeners well-rounded.
Well said, Tim. But wait, there's more. Did you know that there's more, Tim?
I would hope so. Otherwise, we'd have a 4-minute show.
Our main event today is diving into the topic of love languages and how it is tied to Christmas presents. You know, finding that perfect gift speaks to the heart, no matter if it's an act of service or quality time.
That's right, Greg. Love languages and Christmas presents. It's like trying to figure out if your significant other wants a partridge in a pear tree or just a cozy blanket. It's a mystery wrapped in tinsel. I got my wife last year
a partridge in a pear tree.
No, a heated blanket. Best gift ever.
Yeah.
She's always cold.
It always reminds me of the Office episode where the guy gives her the 12 days of Christmas and the birds are just ripping her face apart.
I can't take it anymore. My cat killed a turtle dove. The French hens have started pulling out my hair to make a nest.
Anyway, so whether you're dodging rug ornaments on the street or performing the three-point shot with a candy cane stick. What? That doesn't make any sense. Who wrote this?
You did.
The Greg and Tim Show is your one-stop shop for laughs, sports, and holiday hijinks.
So let's grab your favorite beverage.
I got mine. Coffee.
I got mine. Bubbly. Let's roll.
Rolling now.
Rolling. Grab your phone. It's podcast time. It's the Greg and Tim Show. It's the Greg and Tim Show. Remember Scott Rowland?
I do remember Scott Rowland. He was a baseball player back in the day.
Yeah.
He played for the Blue Jays.
And the Phillies.
Yeah. He was much better with the Phillies. It was in his prime years. His Phillies were his prime years. You know who took over third base for him?
It's on the tip of my tongue. And I forgot.
It was a guy named Batista.
Oh, Tony Batista.
Tony Batista. It was Tony, not Jose.
Yeah,
even though Jose was also
crazy swing.
And he had his open stance.
Yeah, he had the.
I'm just kicking stuff around here.
Yeah,
he was literally facing the batter.
It's so weird,
right?
Yeah,
it was fun.
Anyway,
hey, so
you made the camera go up and down. Do you see that? Or you knocked it off?
Oh, it's that camera, not that camera. Yeah. Hey. Oh.
It's a rave.
I'm going to try not to edit anything on this episode again, so let's make sure that it goes smoothly. We have a new sound person
Billy
for the day.
with an IE.
Billy with an IE,
Yeah.
also known as Billy. We're going to talk a little hockey talk
Not
to
Eilish.
start the day. Not Eilish.
No.
Can we get her on the show?
No.
Can we work on it?
We can work on it.
Okay.
Maybe not successfully.
Probably not.
Okay, all right.
So you brought this topic up to me earlier this week, and I put it into the show because I think it's very important for hockey.
Yep.
Ovechkin and Crosby.
So Alexander Ovechkin a week ago said
I've got the quote here.
in an interview.
Yeah.
You can read it.
Do you have the quote? I got the quote. You got
Go
the
ahead.
quote?
Read the quote.
We saved the league. Now they come in, and I guess we're old news, but we saved it. Then it goes on. I don't have the rest of the quote. I got it up there, though. They can see it.
Basically,
I got Billy to turn the screen on this time.
Basically-
Totally forgot to do that last
basically,
time.
Alexander Ovechkin claims that when Sidney Crosby and he came into the league,
Yeah.
the league needed saving.
Yeah, 100%.
Not sure what
it
that
did.
means.
It was right after this lockout.
Yeah.
The big lockout that happened.
Yeah.
That killed a whole season.
right.
Right?
It was 94, right? No, it was
No.
2000. There was
It
a
was like-
couple.
it
That's
was like-
right. There was a couple of them.
It was like 98 or 99 or whatever. No, it would have been like 2004.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, because they've been in the league for what, 19 years?
Yeah.
That might be
2004.
something you can Google up, yeah. But agree.
Maybe if Billy can Google that when the lockout was in the
Hit
year
Billy.
early 2000s.
Can you Google
NHL lockout
NHL lockout?
2004.
Well, don't prompt it. But sure. 2004, 2005. Yeah.
So I was right.
Okay, you're right.
It's okay. I can be right once in a while.
Oh, you're right quite a bit. So do we agree or disagree with the statement that they had saved the league, in quotation saved, right?
So because you gave me this to talk about this week, I actually wanted to look it up a little bit. So I looked up a few things. And one of the videos that I saw was by a guy named Jesse Pollock. Do you know who that is?
Yep.
Yeah, he's on Bar Down, I believe, on TSN. Shout out to Bar Down. If they'd like us to be part of their conglomerate, we can negotiate. He made a good point. In the first year, both Crosby and Ovechkin both had 100 points.
Yep.
And Crosby had 36 goals, I believe, and Ovechkin had 52, I believe. That's a lot of points for a rookie, for one thing. Will Bedard do that this year? Do you think Bedard will get 100 points?
No.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And in the year that Crosby and Ovechkin...
that has more to do with the fact that he made it anyone to play with, right?
Crosby had nobody either. Crosby's team was bad. Ed Olczyk was their coach.
Yeah, Malkin was drafted the year after, was it?
I think he signed the year after. He was drafted a year before, but he was like a Russian defect, I believe.
Right.
And they had Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah.
And Lemieux actually came back to play with Crosby at the beginning. But they didn't have a good team.
Right.
Ed Olczyk was their coach. They actually fired their coach after, I think, a year or two of Crosby being on the team.
You can have a bad team and score goals.
Who's the second coach? Bilesma?
No, I think he was not second.
No. And then Ovechkin, to this day, I'll always remember the call by Kurt Kielbach when Ovechkin did that behind the back
and then he
little
curled
curl with the stick and put it in the net. My goodness.
Kurt Kielbach, who went to Phoenix after the Jets left, he followed the Jets to Phoenix, and still my all-time favorite voice
of the Jets.
Yeah. Well, no, he's probably my all-time favorite
voice altogether.
In the NHL.
So he was calling the game for Arizona for that game, and it was that big, such a great play. And they show his call; they don't show the Washington Capitol call, which is a great, point that he's probably the best announcer out there, right?
Yeah, that's shout out to Kurt Kielbach. I know he lives in Manitoba. He moved back and doing some work.
Is he Manitoba or Kenora?
I believe he's in Manitoba.
Oh, okay,
I could be wrong. Shout out though, if he's listening.
Kurt Kielbach, we'll tag you in the comments.
Favorite play-by-play.
Get you on the show.
So good.
Maybe get you on the show. We're gonna get guests this upcoming year, like guests that are bigger than Reina. Not like size wise, I mean like popularity wise. Reina was a great guest to start with.
She was, yeah, she did a good job.
Yeah.
So a secondary point on, so we do you agree that again that they saved?
I
the league?
agree.
Yeah.
I agree that they saved the league.
If they didn't come along, what, the league was going to fold?
The league wouldn't fold, but they brought butts back to the seats.
Right.
And Crosby single-handedly saved the Penguins, I believe.
Yeah, they were talking about relocating. Right?
There was a point in the season that the Penguins...
Remember the time, and even it was years after this too, where they are talking about the Penguins moving to Hamilton? You remember that?
There was actually a picture of Crosby wearing a Jets jersey on the front cover of the newspaper one time.
Yeah.
Because they said that they're also moving to Winnipeg.
Yeah. And a couple of cups later, you know.
Do you know who was trying to move them to Hamilton?
Yeah, the BlackBerry CEO.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is.
And then he would hold his little BlackBerry up on the TV and because he wanted to buy the Penguins at that time when Crosby was selling. Or not Crosby, Lemieux. Yeah. Crosby didn't own the team.
Right.
He should now.
Yeah. So 20 years later, Crosby and Ovechkin still playing. Crosby or Ovechkin doesn't have Backstrom to play with, and his goal scoring has gone
significantly down. Yeah.
In my opinion, the last 5 years, he's needed the puck at a certain place in the ice, and if he doesn't, he can't get his own scoring chances. He can't manufacture them himself.
Yeah.
And without Backstrom, he just doesn't. He's just not nearly the kind of player he used to be. Crosby, on the other hand, if I'm not mistaken, is on pace for over 100 points this year.
And Crosby's game has never been about goals.
Yeah.
His game has been about two-way play, about, making the assists.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of other guys better.
Yeah.
If you look at it, what's his name that went from Pittsburgh to San Jose? There was a guy, I believe, that went from Pittsburgh to San Jose. When he went to San Jose, he became worse. And he was no longer playing with Crosby. And then you look at guys like Jake Gensel, Colby Armstrong back in the day, and other guys that have played with Crosby that have gotten better just from having a better player on their team.
Yeah, I think that's the idea that Ovechkin could be the best goal scorer the NHL has seen in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
But Crosby's just a better overall.
Imagine Ovechkin and Crosby on the same team.
No, that'd be pretty good.
And here's the other thing. They've played for the same team their entire career. Both those guys. That's unheard of.
And of course, neither of them are. I think there was talk that the Penguins would think about trading Crosby, I think a year or two ago. I just can't.
There's no point now.
Yeah, you got to let him play.
Yeah, he's won his championships.
Yeah.
Ovechkin's won his championships. Yeah. I think that they just ride out to the sunset. But again, that's unheard of. I don't think McDavid plays for the same team his whole career.
Well, and the idea is Crosby was rewarded after a certain amount of times by trips to the Stanley Cup, winning Stanley Cups. And there isn't that frustration with we're never going to get there, right? And it's a good segue we talking about guys like McDavid or even Matthews staying with the same team.
Yeah.
The two differences, of course, is
Matthews is on a competitive team.
Well, here's the thing. Matthews and McDavid play for Canadian teams, first of all, which is slightly different.
Yeah.
Secondly, they play on teams that, as of now, aren't one of the top 5-6 favorites in the league.
Yeah.
You would, if I had to put money down, I would not say the Leafs or the Edmonton Oilers were going to win a Stanley Cup this year.
Well, saying the Leafs aren't means that there's a lot of teams that aren't going to.
Right.
Because the Leafs right now are tied for third in their division.
Right.
They're 11-6-3.
Yeah.
Which if we're saying that as a Jets record, we're happy.
Yeah.
So I'm not disappointed in the Leafs record. Oilers at 8-12-1 though. That's and they're better now. Like that's a way better record than they had before they fired their coach.
It's nothing to do with what you do during the year anyway.
Yeah.
It always seems that there's a piece missing when you hit the playoffs.
You have to make the playoffs first.
So, and I said this to you the other day, it's teams that are constructed like the Boston Bruins of 10 years ago.
Tampa Bay Lightning,
the Las Vegas Golden Knights, where you have players that are willing to commit to a two-way game, where it's both on the defensive end and the offensive end. And I said this to you as a theory. I messaged you and I said, listen, are these players like Matthews and McDavid ever going to win? And if they are going to win, my theory is that they'd probably have to sacrifice 30 points, especially McDavid, because there really has to be that more of a commitment. Like they'll win games 8-4, but they won't win games in the playoffs 3-2.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is what this was my theory, is that sometimes when you're handicapped by players with huge offensive talents,
Yeah.
because you feel as an organization that you have to cater to those talents offensively,
Yeah.
which worked in the 1980s because you can win games 8-6, which the Oilers did, and win championships because you're just so much better offensively than the opposition, and you can have mediocre goalies even.
The biggest downside for the Oilers and the Leafs has been goaltending.
Right.
Goaltending and defense.
Yeah, but
And the Leafs have addressed their defense.
Yeah.
Their goaltending's gotten better. The Oilers actually took one of the Leafs goalies with Campbell.
Yeah.
And it failed.
So the Las Vegas Golden Knights won a Stanley Cup last year, and can you tell me who their starting goalie was?
Laurent Brossoit.
Well, he wasn't in the playoffs, but
He started in the playoffs.
He started in the playoffs. He didn't finish in the playoffs. You remember the player that played the last game in the Stanley Cup winning?
No, I don't.
Game. Exactly.
But
it
comes down to defense.
Exactly.
Like,
I think that
the big difference is their
Jacques
defense
Plante in
too.
his prime couldn't win a championship for a team in 2023 who is not committed to that 2A game.
Any goalie pre 2004 couldn't win a game these days.
Yeah.
The goalies have gotten so much better.
Yeah.
Like even the worst goalie in the league right now would outwork Jacques Plante.
Hopefully he's not listening.
Jacques Plante. I don't know. Is he alive? Can you check, Billy, if Jacques Plante is still alive? Jacques Plante with an
Plante. Don't forget the E at the end. I don't know if there's an accent.
Before we get off of hockey here, real quick, one guy that has left a team and he just signed recently, Patrick Kane, thought he would be a forever Blackhawk, and he's now signed with
the Detroit Red Wings.
Right. So him and Taves took basically match deals, and they won championships. I thought for sure that Kane would just finish out his career with the Blackhawks.
See, Patrick Kane to me
is
not the kind of guy, like I can see Taves doing that, and who knows if he even does. But Patrick Kane kind of strikes me as the kind of guy who would just kind of be in it
care
for
about
himself
himself
a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Jacques Plante alive?
He was born in 1929.
Okay, so he's dead. So
people do live over 100 years old, though.
Yeah.
So we can't assume that.
But anyway, and the one thing I don't want to get into right now because it'll take up the rest of the show is the Corey Perry thing. Maybe next week we'll know more about Corey Perry.
They're never going to come out with the actual reason.
I think the Blackhawks have to. I think the Blackhawks have to because of everything that happened to them a couple of years ago.
In the absence of an actual reason, people are always going to run with the rumor until they give the actual reason.
So there's two rumors right now, and I'll just get into it for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
One, they dispelled apparently that he was with
dispelled.
That's what they said.
As in dispelled being they came out and said, no, that's not the case.
That's not the case. And the other rumor,
I'm not sure what else they're going to say.
And most people know what that rumor is. The other rumor now that came out this morning was that he was with either a TV reporter or one of the employees of the Blackhawks.
You do not get canned for that.
For a TV reporter? Oh yeah, you could.
You would?
And for a local, not local, but their one of their staff members, whether it be a trainer or a physical therapist or that type of thing, right? So we will find out. I'm sure that the Blackhawks eventually are going to have to let this out because people are going to clamor for it forever.
I think they're going to deny, and hope people forget about the story, which they will eventually. Corey Perry. Moving on.
So moving on to topic number 2, also a sports topic, and so our first 2 topics this week are sports topics. Our second 2 topics are not sports topics.
Matthew just sent us a video,
and Matthew just sent us a video.
He's in Mexico.
He is in Mexico. He's been sending videos of random animals, like monkeys, and what was the other one? An anteater?
I don't know. All I know is I think there's some illegal drug activity that's underfoot.
Is it illegal there for cocaine?
No, it's
cocaine. Oh, okay.
He's putting it some places.
Isn't one of the people that he's with an undercover narcotics agent?
Hopefully not.
Matthew may not be back. So topic number 2 here is sports attention spans. Tim, you were talking about the NBA in-season tournament.
Okay, so something new in the NBA this year. And this is completely new of any of the sports. I've never seen this done in the 4 major sports: hockey, football, baseball.
Soccer does it.
Okay, sorry. Okay, soccer does it. But soccer's
a major sport.
Yes, but soccer's run in a different way in the season, right? So the NBA has instituted a very different in-season tournament where on Tuesdays and Fridays they play a tournament game, which counts towards a secondary
trophy. They have a trophy for it,
that you basically the NBA is giving out 2 trophies, one for winning the championship at the end of the year, and one for winning this secondary tournament that they've instituted this year. And they divide them into divisions of 5. Randomly, this kind of a random.
It's not random. It's all based on last year's standings for the first half of the season.
And every Tuesday and Friday they play, and then the top so many teams. I think in the early December next week or whatever, they narrow them down and they go into like semifinals, quarterfinals, semifinals, and
just
finals.
like a Big Ten or like an NCAA tournament bracket.
But the long and short of it is a second, or the same or a second team will actually have a trophy. They'll get money.
Yeah. So this is what the NBA said. This is a competition. This is designed as competition to engage fans and to drive interest in the early portion of the season.
Right. So the idea is that people do not have the attention span. The season is too long. We've gone over this in baseball quite a bit, where people just do not want to follow a sport
the whole season,
the entire year, right? We talked about the dog days of baseball.
I think the one thing the Jays have done good about that, though, is that they do that Blue Jays in 30.
Right.
And it allows somebody to watch the show, a Jays game, essentially, in 30 minutes.
So this has been the push in baseball to speed up the game. And is that because the game needs speeding up, or is that just because people just do not have the attention span in general in 2023 to actually sit down and watch a game? Is this an indictment on society or on these sports that are doing these things?
Should we change our show to Greg and Tim in 30 so that we can get it done in 22 minutes with commercials?
Well, we do our shorts, and you do the shorts, and you do the reels, which is that's why we do them, right? Because people don't want to sit and listen.
So we have our almost hour-long show, and then I'll post the clips, which are usually 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll post our shorts, which are usually 30 to 45 seconds.
Right.
That way I hit every demographic.
Right.
Yeah. We should have an in-season tournament.
How would that work?
I don't know. Like during the first half of our next season, we do a tournament where we play backgammon in front of everybody. Basketball. No, I'm not a basketball player.
I'll whoop you.
Okay, I'll play basketball against you then. Okay, let's do that.
Do all the sports. Yeah. Actually, that's not a bad idea.
We should do a shootout in every sport.
So
we'll do a hockey one, which I'll win.
Remember Pro Stars, the cereal, and they had commercials where all the majors.
Yeah, it was players, like Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson,
and they'd all kind of play each other in certain sports.
Do you remember that?
It's a flashback.
Do you remember that commercial? Or not commercial, the cartoon. Oh, what was that cartoon called? It had Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, and another person. Remember, they were superheroes, but it was
vaguely.
Oh man, I'll have to find that. I'll find it for next episode.
This?
Can you look that up, Billy? Sports cartoon with Michael Jordan. No, don't do Michael Jordan. Do Wayne Gretzky, because Space Jam will just come up with Michael Jordan. Sports cartoon, Wayne Gretzky. What's it called? Pro Stars.
Well, I just said Pro Stars, and then it would turn into.
You said it was a cereal.
It also was a cereal.
Can you look up? Is Pro Stars a cereal?
You can, but it is.
I love having Billy back.
Billy, Billy. Anyway, no one knows that song.
Nobody knows that song. So, is Pro Stars a cereal?
Of course it is.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Yeah, it was a cartoon.
In this multiverse, in every single multiverse, Pro Stars was a cereal.
Our multiverse short? Yeah. My goodness, you guys are loving the multiverse stuff. So Mandela Effect is just bouncing off the walls.
We make
There's so many people arguing with each other whether or not Shazam existed. Some people are saying that they have the videotape and they want to send it to me. And I'm sorry. I would love to see it, but I'm afraid that that package is going to be A, a bomb,
Yeah.
or B,
Yeah,
some kind of like virus. Like, let me have your address so I can send you the video. And I'm like, no, I'm good.
We've captured the nerd demographic.
I don't think they're nerds. Am I a nerd?
No, you're a cool nerd.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in the end, basketball, yes or no? What is it? Is it too long of a season? I don't think it's too long of a season.
Well, every season is approximately of the major North
It's about
American
80
major
games.
sports
Yeah.
are approximately the same length. The NBA's argument is that, or people that follow the NBA, is that the regular season doesn't really mean a whole lot. It really
Because there's a lot of teams that make the playoffs.
which is why they instituted the 7 through 10. You know, those last 4 teams have to play
wild card.
So they've kind of already started going in that direction.
They've already
right?
increased the amount of teams that go in the playoffs.
Right.
I think the NBA is doing good with that, though.
Yeah.
I think the NHL could learn from that. I think the MLB could learn from that. But like, if you look at the NFL, they're only a 19-week league.
Right.
And you get a bye week.
Yeah.
Right? So in the NFL, or there's an 18-week league with 17
Yes,
weeks.
I think that's correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So in the NFL, it's a shorter season, but it's still over 18 weeks plus playoffs.
Yeah.
So you're still almost a half a year of football.
Yeah.
If you think about it. And hockey, yes, you're almost a half a year of hockey, if not more. It's from October until June.
But this stuff, was this an issue 30 years ago? Again, is this society not having the attention span?
Hockey didn't go into June 30 years ago.
May ended in May. Well, that's the beginning of June. I remember 25 years ago.
June, I don't think.
Less teams.
There was less teams.
Yeah.
But they still played the same amount of games.
Yeah.
They still played 82 games. That only changed after expansion when it came to when the WHA joined. I think they went from 70 something to 82.
Right. Anyway, so almost into June, not that far in advance, but anyway. So that's kind of the discussion about what the NBA is doing.
Yeah.
I mean, applaud them for thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
The reason why they're doing it, the reason why baseball is looking to speed up their games drives me a little insane, but that's just me.
Yeah.
It is good that they're trying to find different ways to basically make money, really, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's another thing too, right?
It's all about the money.
It's all about the money.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
It's all about the Benjamins.
Play that music.
So
Anyway.
piggybacking off that topic about short attention spans,
Yeah.
People really like, I find events, or sports fans, like events where they can focus for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then move on to something
Like
else.
the Olympics.
So the World Cup is
World
a big
Cup.
one. Some people are Italian fans, you know, they would die if Italy won a soccer game or the tournament, except for they don't watch a single other sporting event in soccer in their life, and nor do they follow the Italian team any other time of the year.
Yeah.
And March Madness is a big one, right? That's coming up
In March.
Yeah, March, yeah. Approximately March. I heard it's madness.
When's March Madness? Billy, can you look up when March Madness is? Thanks.
In which month?
In which month is March Madness?
When was the War of the Year? What was it? What's that old joke? The War of 1812. In what year did the War of 1812 take place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but like it kind of follows suit that people again aren't able to follow long seasons.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's true. I believe you. I could argue with you by saying I love baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball, I love that the season's long.
Yeah.
Because baseball to me signifies summer.
Right.
And as long as baseball's on, it's still summer.
Right.
So we went to the game, when did we go? In October? In Minneapolis? Yeah, it was October.
Yeah.
We went to the game in Minneapolis in October. It, to me, was still summer.
Right.
As soon as baseball was over, the winter blues.
Remember in the car when we were like, hey, what if you can go somewhere where it's 22 degrees and sunny?
And we drove all the way to New York.
Yeah. That was his pitch line to the other guys in the vehicle to drive to New York.
Yeah, I had to sell it to them, especially to David.
On Tuesday could be somewhere that's, and now I have that
22 and sunny.
I tag that line all the time. If you could go somewhere, Matthew somewhere, it's 26 and sunny, I think, right?
Yeah.
Mexico.
So if you were watching or listening for the sports talk, that's it. That's the sports talk for the day. So
and scene. And transitioning.
We're going to move on to a different topic. This one, we'll see how much we talk about this one. Plastic ban in Canada for the fellow Canadians, because we aren't only in Canada. We are listened to globally.
Right.
So people that aren't from Canada, let me paint you a picture right now. And by paint you a picture, I mean, I'm going to paint a picture with a wood paint brush on a piece of paper made from trees also, because we're not allowed to use plastic in Canada. When you get a Slurpee at 7-Eleven,
Yep.
and you need to stir it, because it's, when you drink a Slurpee and the slush like gets a little hard because you've gotten all the juice out of it, and you go to stir it to get it like mixed back up again.
Yeah.
When you stir it with a straw in Canada, the straw moves on the top, but the bottom stays in the exact same place.
Right.
We use paper straws.
Yeah.
We also use what they call bamboo forks.
Yeah. If you don't know what bamboo means, it means break as soon as it hits any substance.
Yeah. Bamboo. It is Australian for breaks instantly.
Instantly upon touching.
Australian or Chinese?
Oh.
Bamboo's from China? Where are we importing our bamboo from? By the way,
I'm sure it's fake.
we can't be fake. We can't have plastic. It has to be real. We can't have plastic in Canada.
Yeah.
So we're importing bamboo from China?
Yeah.
Think about it.
But that's the point. It doesn't make sense, right?
It makes zero sense. And the amount of oil and gas it takes to import this stuff into Canada.
Whoa. That's way too much thinking into the whole thing that nobody needs to do. We just got to realize that the government is concerned about the environment, and we should just give them carte blanche to do
So
whatever
I
they
also-
want and don't question
I also now go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
And I drink out of a plastic cup with a plastic lid with no straw, because there's no straws allowed.
But it's a plastic cup.
And you know what's even better? This is the best one, you guys. Everybody's ready for this one. I go to Wendy's.
Yeah.
I order myself a large Coke with cherry, because they have all the flavors.
Yeah.
I get it in a plastic cup with a plastic lid and a paper straw. And a paper straw.
Yeah.
And you know what happens to that paper straw after like 3 minutes in carbonated beverage?
Yeah.
I start drinking straw.
It disappears.
I get a whole bunch of paper in my mouth. It is ridiculous. Like, the whole paper straw thing is ridiculous. So what happened in Canada is that the federal court system
So back up. I believe it was Alberta and Saskatchewan who actually
brought it to court.
Brought this case to court, and
Yeah.
it basically said, "Listen, there is no proof that what you're doing here with eliminating plastic from these
Single-use plastics.
single-use plastics,
Yeah.
does anything beneficial to the environment, or
Yeah.
does any harm to either one, right?"
Exactly.
So they basically brought it to court to say this needs to end, and Alberta, this group that was led by these two provinces, won this case. The judge looked at it and said, "Yeah, there is the government has not brought enough proof to the table." And they actually overturned the plastic ban. But what's so
Sort of.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's been overturned, but it hasn't been removed yet.
Right.
So the plastic ban is supposed to come into play in December. Everybody's already started it last December because you had to get rid of everything before December. But the government has said that they're going to appeal
Of course they will.
the decision.
Yeah.
And it's not yet over.
Right. Of course they're going to appeal it. But what surprises me so much is the apathy of Canadian individuals who don't seem to care
About the plastic.
about
the paper stuff.
About the
Yeah.
paper issue.
Yeah.
And more only that wouldn't even know the story exists as far as they lost this court case. Literally a judge, not a moron, an actual sitting judge.
Yeah.
In sitting in a federal seat in this country, looked at the evidence
And said that
and
it
said
makes no sense.
it makes no sense.
Yeah.
And people on, and I want to say the left side of the political equation, don't care.
They think that it's still...
they literally don't care.
Yeah.
And this goes back to I just don't understand some Canadians and their apathy.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you know what's funny?
what's that?
You're old enough to remember this.
Maybe.
Remember in the 80s when we
I
used to
do
go to
remember the
groceries.
80s.
We used to go to grocery stores, and all of our groceries would be in paper bags.
I believe so, yeah.
In Safeway, you'd get paper bags. And then they're like,
Yeah, I
nope,
do. Yep.
you're killing all the trees. You're
Yeah.
killing all the trees. We're going to
Yeah.
move to plastic
Yeah.
bags. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to get rid of the paper bags.
Yeah.
And now it's like bizarro world out there.
But we make fun of Americans for challenging things and authority, and we make fun of them all the time. Not me, but people.
You've made fun
in
of a lot of
general.
Americans. Anybody that's listening, I'll
I
give
used
them
to
your
be
phone
the
number.
captain of Club America when I was in high school. I
Okay.
love a lot of the things that happen in the United States. Not everything's good, of course.
Yeah. Everybody has their ups and downs.
But at least they question. But it seemed like we learned this from an event that happened that we won't say, starts with a C. We learned this, that Canadians don't question authority.
They're very submissive.
It's like, if you say it's right, then it must be right. And not only that, we bash people who actually do. Don't say anything bad about it. Don't say anything bad about it. Even when they turn out to be correct.
Yeah.
For some reason, we do not want to, even if they're incorrect, want to question authority.
Exactly.
Like, and it drives me absolutely insane. So the government,
Bonkers.
so the government then feels they have complete rule to do whatever they want. Right, wrong, indifferent, it doesn't matter because they're not questioned on it.
Yeah.
And this is why, in my opinion, the Liberal government has stayed in place for so long. Because people don't question. Let's just stick with what we have.
Yeah.
Even if we don't agree with all of it, why question? So everything stays the same.
If there's any government officials listening, Tim's address is you might be sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah. Well, that's a mafia term.
I made a mafia term.
Yeah.
Sleeping with the fishes. Yeah. Good old cement boots.
Anyways, that's my little rant for the day.
I get it.
It boggles my mind how many people don't care.
How many people don't question the narrative, essentially, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And like the narrative of the plastic thing doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, maybe we use too many straws.
Yeah. I can't imagine this appeal, how it's going to work. Well, we had no actual evidence before, but here's some non-evidence again. Now what do you think? like literally, this was a federal judge.
I know. Because now they're going to appeal to another federal judge, I guess.
And they have,
I don't know.
And literally there's no evidence.
Yeah.
That I
think this gets drawn on. We have another year of the government.
Yeah.
It gets drawn on for one more year.
Yeah.
2 more years, 1 more year, whatever it is. And it just gets drawn on. And then eventually we'll go back to the way it was. And I won't have to steal straws from Jimmy John's anymore. Shout out to Jimmy John's. Love your sandwiches and straws.
You never asked for Jimmy John's when I came back a couple weeks ago. I was surprised. I was going to offer it, but
yeah,
I went for the day to Grand Forks. I said,
right.
"Hey, do you want?"
Oh, because we were watching the football game, and I didn't want to have it. I didn't want to have it in front of people that weren't getting any.
What you just said. Anyway, so that's my little rant on that, and that's my take on that. But interesting. It's a move in the positive direction for those
100%.
people who actually get tired of, and people get blamed and labeled as, haters of the environment. It's the second they question. Just like during that event I won't speak of that starts with the C, people were just bashed when they questioned it. Even questioned it.
The event we don't speak of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Like literally, it just boggles my mind.
Well, since we got you all riled up, Tim, we got you all riled up.
What's riled mean?
Riled?
Riled.
What is the origin of the word riled? Riled.
And not only riled, I'm riled up.
Yeah. The verb rile is derived from royal, and they basically mean the same thing. However, rile is more commonly used to mean annoy, and royal mostly describes stirred liquid. If you rile up your sister, what you say makes her get worked up, ready to argue with you. So what I've done is riled you up for the next segment, and the next segment is all about love.
And Christmas.
Christmas love.
Christmas and love.
Love and Christmas.
And love languages.
The Christmas love.
What's the difference between regular love and Christmas love? Why do you keep saying that?
I don't know.
Our ratings are go down every time you sing. You know that, right?
Down?
Down,
don't know.
down.
That's sad.
Leave it to the professionals.
Okay.
You have many skills, Greg.
We're working on getting a professional on, so we'll see if we can do that so we can get somebody that's a professional to sing it.
Perfect.
Perfect. Awesome. Topic of the day. Let's let it roll.
Let it roll. Okay, hooray. It's time for the topic of the day. So I'm going to connect love languages
Yeah, for sure.
and Christmas presents.
Yeah.
And I'm going to premise this by explaining love languages.
Does this mean
Yeah.
that I could possibly save some money this Christmas?
You might be able to.
Yeah.
So there are the gentleman by the name of Gary Chapman wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages.
Yeah.
And it was how people experience love.
Yeah.
And there are 5 ways in which they do. Gift giving, quality time, acts of service, affirmation, and it says quality time twice there. So what would be the fifth? What would be the fifth one? It would be physical touch. So those 5 love languages, and by the way, Gary Chapman came to our church, I believe it was 10, 12 years ago in that
some time ago,
with his wife and spoke on this. So I'm fascinated about this, about human behavior and how they experience love, but directly correlated to how we appreciate Christmas presents.
Yeah.
So in our household, every couple of years, we take the money and we don't do a lot for gifts. My mentality is we will travel, use the money and experience life. Not getting a physical gift for the kids, but spend it for our family trip. So for me, my love language is not gifts, obviously, because I gravitate away from that and I want to experience life with people. So for me, something like quality time would be higher because I have that mentality. And I always reference this by asking people, what did you get last year for Christmas?
Yeah.
And half the time, I'm not going to say all the time because people do remember, half the time they don't remember, but you never forget experiences.
That's right.
They stay with you forever because they're special.
Unless they get a gift that's super special.
Right.
And you asked me, I think in episode 2 or 3, what I got for my wife for our anniversary last year.
Right.
And I forgot.
Right.
But I do remember.
Right.
I remembered shortly after. Yeah. We got those forever bracelets. I've actually got one on right now.
And I remember
Lorraine got one as well.
Yeah.
And basically they're soldered on so you can't take them off.
Right.
And it's just something we did. I always do something a little different for anniversaries. I don't think that Lorraine's love language is gifts. I believe hers is acts of service. Yeah. So when I do things for her, like if I unloaded the dishwasher this morning, which I did not. So she got home and did not feel the love. But I worked all day. I think words of affirmation and quality time might be hers too.
Podcast.
And I'm doing a podcast this evening. Yeah. What's your top? So what was your top one? Do you remember?
You sent this to me a couple of nights ago, and we both went through this. I mean, there's so many different tests and quiz.
Well, we're putting the quiz in the comments below.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to take the quiz, the link is just below in the description of the video. So feel free to take the quiz. Yeah. And if you take the quiz, I want you to comment below what your top 2 love languages are.
And I mean, it gets to the point. I think it's a little bit. It wasn't as in depth as I'd like. Some of the questions were like neither.
Do you know why they do that though?
Why is that?
It's because it's got to be one or the other.
Right.
So like it asked me like a ton of times, this or a gift, this or a present, this or an item, you know, and it was because it wants you to place these things and you're like, oh no, I actually would like that. Right. So it's weighting things. And because you keep picking like quality time, or words of affirmation or whatever you're picking. What was your top one?
It was.
Do you remember?
In front of me.
I have it.
Did we have the same top one, right?
No.
No?
Okay. We had 2 different top ones.
If I'm not mistaken, was it acts of service?
Nope.
What was it?
Acts of service is actually 4th for you.
Okay.
Words of affirmation.
Okay.
So this is why every episode, at the end of the episode, I tell you, Tim, you did an amazing job.
No, unload the dishwasher.
No, unload the dishwasher for my wife so that I can get in the good books. No, you're very much like Stuart Smalley, I think. You stand in front of the mirror and you're like, I am good.
I'm smart enough.
And doggone it, people like me.
That's funny how we both remember that. SNL.
It's a great skit.
You remember who did that?
Yeah, it was the one of the writers. I can't remember his
Al
name.
Franken.
Al Franken,
And
right?
do you remember what he did after he left SNL? He ran for governor of Minnesota.
Right. Yeah, he did a lot of things.
I think it was Minnesota.
I think he was a liberal governor, right?
I think he won. Yeah, I think he was governor.
He might have.
Yeah.
He was a very interesting character. He also had a movie, I think. Did he do a movie with Stuart?
Stuart Saves the World, it was called.
Was it?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Anyways, we're getting way off topic. But in terms of love languages, in terms of stuff for Christmas gifts, if you know your spouse's love language, so share the link with your spouse or share the video here and then let them watch it and then click the link after the video. Watch the whole video, then click the link. Find out what their love languages are, and you can really help yourself this Christmas. Yeah. For instance, like if your spouse's love language isn't gifts, if that's the last thing on their list, maybe you should be doing things that is on their list. Save your money.
Those coupons, back rub.
No, but like quality time is going to cost you money still. But maybe you go and buy like 2 tickets to a theater or 2 tickets to Thermea, or you know what I mean? But you also have to know what they like. Yeah. Like if they don't like musicals, don't buy them 2 tickets to a musical. Yeah. If your wife is not a hockey fan, I know that quality time, you love hockey and you love hanging out with your wife, but your wife may not like hockey.
She likes hockey.
Right?
What do you want for Christmas?
What do I want for Christmas? I don't think I want anything.
Yeah.
No, like Lorraine's asked me multiple times. No, I don't know what I want for Christmas because we're in the day and age that we just buy things that we need or want.
Right.
And we don't wait anymore like we used to. And I think it's because things can get delivered to you within 3 days.
Right.
You don't have to go out shopping. It's sent to you on your phone. Oh, you would like this. And then you're like, oh, I would like that. You click it, you click buy, and it's already at home. Right? Whereas back in the day, you would get the Sears catalog and you'd be like circling things and everything like that. And then you'd have to actually physically go out and get it.
Yeah.
And now that barrier to purchasing is gone.
It's kind of funny that we have this social stigma that we buy presents for Christmas and birthdays. But, you know, we could easily just buy presents for Thanksgiving, too. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
The States is just as big as Christmas, if not more.
Easter, we buy chocolate.
Right, but it's not a present, right? We don't buy Easter presents for people.
Yeah, like I've always got Easter gifts.
You have?
Yeah. The Easter Bunny delivers them.
Okay, but that's chocolate and...
No, it was gifts and stuff when I was a child, and it's gifts for my kids.
Right. We'll hide the eggs, all that stuff, right?
Well, and it's also gifts. You
don't wrap up a gift for Easter and say...
You don't wrap it up, but there's a gift always there. But like, let's say act of service.
Yeah.
What's your suggestion for somebody whose love language is acts of service? Like to get them for Christmas.
Remember as kids, you have no money, so you'd be like, write out those coupons for your mom, like 5 back rubs, and you'd write out the coupons.
Yeah, those are lame, though.
And then they'd tell your wife 3 and
those are lame.
So they're kind of funny lame.
So if acts of service is on their list, find out what else is on their list in the top 3.
Right.
Like quality time, like touch, gifts, acts of service, and words of affirmation. Yeah. So essentially my list, my top 3 are quality time, words of affirmation, and touch.
Right.
Acts of service is 4th and gifts is 5th. To me, I love hanging out with my wife. Yeah. I love hanging out with my kids. Yeah. Like I like the quality time aspect. Yeah. But I also like the quality time to be something that I want to do.
Where was the question or one of the responses that you could pick that if present would be to send me to Thermea on my own for 10 hours
quality
without anybody?
Acts of service.
That was never on one of the options. Like, that sounds great.
That's acts of service.
Okay.
I would assume that would be acts of service.
Do you like doing things on your own, by the way?
I do. And it's not because I don't want to be with my family. Yeah. It's mostly because when I go, like, let's say I go to a Jays game in Toronto. Yeah. I like going by myself because then I can do everything on my own time.
Right.
And My family doesn't want to be at the Jays game for 5 hours,
No.
but I'll get there 3 hours early and stay half an hour to an hour after the game and not just rip in and rip out, right?
I'll go to sporting events, go see movies. I'd sit at a spa for 8 hours on my own. But I'm an only child, so take it or leave it.
I'm not an only child,
Right.
but I still like that stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also like hanging out with people.
Yeah.
So like if Lorraine wants to go to the movies, I want to go with her.
Yeah.
I'm not really a movie guy by myself.
Right.
Sports, for the most part, I like going by myself because of my desire to like do stuff at sporting events.
Yeah.
Whereas going to a movie, going for dinner, that kind of thing, I like to do with other people.
So going back to your question, what do you give somebody who for acts of service? Was that? Well, like you said, if it's a gift though,
like Thermea, a Thermea thing.
It depends what they would like to do, right? It's usually for my wife, she would like to do something with me.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to give her just her,
so like I said, figure out what else is in their top 3 and go with that instead.
Yeah.
If gifts isn't in their top 3, don't feel bad about not getting them like a gift.
Yeah.
And figure out like how you can make their life easier, make their day better, or give them an event or an experience that they haven't had before.
Make sure their car battery is fully charged.
Make sure their car battery is fully charged. If anybody's listening to that out in the podcast world,
Billy,
make sure the car battery is fully charged.
Anyways, I thought that was
awkward silence.
I thought number 13. I still can't get over 13. You remember 13? That was one of Timu's Solani's.
That was his rookie number, yeah.
And then he switched to 8.
Do you know why he switched to 8?
Because I forget.
So Randy Carlyle wore number 8 in his first year,
yep.
And then Solani wore it after Randy Carlyle retired, and not to honor Randy Carlyle.
Remember back in the day? I remember when Carlyle was a Jet. The defensemen still didn't wear helmets. Remember that?
Yeah.
I had a hockey card. That wasn't even that long ago. And he
was in the 80s, early 90s.
We were just talking about Jacques Plante, and I was telling Billy, Billy didn't know who Jacques Plante was. And basically said Jacques Plante was a goalie that got tired of getting hit in the head with the puck and said, there's got to be something we can do to make this better.
Invented the goalie mask.
Which seems like it's strange that he wouldn't
wear a mask in the first place. A hard rubber puck is being flung at your face. Flung?
Flung,
Flung is not a word. Flung.
And we looked it up. He did pass away. I think it was in 1986.
86.
So
he was 86th in 86.
86th in 86?
Yeah. Do you know what 86 means?
Apparently it means to die.
It's like removed, banned, taken out.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, Gary Chapman, love languages, and if you got to the end of this episode, congratulations, because some people don't.
People don't have the attention span to listen to the podcast for 48 minutes.
But
they should get a prize if they made it all the way to minute number 48, 49, 50, whatever it
57, whatever we're at.
Yeah.
What kind of prize can we give them? A pat on the back? Let's give them...
hats can be sent to them. They just have to pay shipping and handling.
Why do you want to get rid of my hat so badly? We're going to keep your shirt on. We're not promising anything this week. We only got 6 new subscribers, and I blame you because this was your week to get new subscribers. I got 27 the week before. You got 6
I made a passionate plea to the employees of a certain business.
And none of them subscribed.
Impassionate. One said, I just did. And I don't know what she did.
she went like this. I just did. Check. And I'm like, that's not how you subscribe.
So apparently there's a 2-step process to getting people to subscribe. One is to actually talk about it, and then it's a follow-up.
The follow-up is to show them how to.
The follow-up is, first I got to figure out how.
One of the guy's phones, I actually just took the phone and I said, here's how you subscribe. And I showed him and I subscribed for him. It was easy.
But we have 106
as of posting right now.
It's going up. It's going up, up, up.
Yeah. So maybe next week we can get a famous singer on the show, and that'll help boost them up a little bit.
A famous singer.
It's not Taylor Swift.
Ooh, that's too bad. By the way, 13 apparently I'm supposed to say is Taylor Swift's favorite number.
Taylor Swift's favorite number. Did we talk about any TV shows today? Pro
did we talk
Stars.
Pro Stars, yes, and you didn't know it was a cereal, by the way.
I did not know it
I
was a
get
cereal.
bonus points for knowing it was a cereal, and I did know it was a show. But so I get 2 points. You get 1 point. It's 2-1 for me.
The competition doesn't start till start of season 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
When does the season start? So the season started in October,
in September.
September.
Yeah.
So in the fall.
Yeah.
So it's like a
Just
regular
like
show.
a regular TV show.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go on hiatus in April or May.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I like doing the show.
Hiatus? No, there's no hiatus.
We don't want to do a hiatus.
There's not going to be any hiatus. But the more you say hiatus, the funnier.
Hiatus.
Hiatus.
Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to like, subscribe.
Hiatus.
and
Hiatus.
If you liked the show, make sure
Hiatus. Does it sound funny?
Stop.
It's like lumpy.
Thanks again. Have a great day. And don't forget to like, subscribe, send it to all your friends, and grab your favorite beverage because somebody else.
Royal.
Hiatus.
To rile
you up. All riled up. Good show, Timmy. I appreciate that one. That one was a good one.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. See you again next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.